Welcome back to MMA Al Dente. I am the guy who picked Justin Levens to defeat Evan Tanner. And I'm here to talk about Claudio Puelles versus Fares Ziam. My pick for this fight is Fares Ziam. I've got him winning by TKO in the second half of the fight, rounds 2 and 3, which I'll wait to see what the props look like for this fight because they could be interesting going both ways. But the props aren't available. Still, I think Fares Ziam should win this fight. He's won all of his fights by decision in the UFC. I'm aware of that, but I'm picking TKO because I think if he does take over the fight, he's going to have a distinct striking advantage, of course. And these guys are fighting at high altitude, and I just think a TKO would be more likely here, more likely than under other circumstances. But if he does lose, of course, it's probably by submission. Fares Ziam's been defeated 4 times, 3 times by rear naked choke in round 1, and once by decision against Don Madge in his UFC debut. I think it was his debut. And either way, shit fight where he was neutralized by a stronger fighter. But every other defeat's been a rear naked choke in round 1. Some good fighters on the regional scene, and of course Terrence McKinney in the UFC. And I think Kaja Puelles, despite being known for his knee bar, if he's able to get on top of Fares Ziam early when he's fresh, Fares Ziam could be in danger, whether it's from a knee bar, rear naked choke, or whatever else. But I'm expecting Fares Ziam to take that round 1 danger away. I think he knows, of course, he's got to keep the fight standing. And, of course, I'm sure he's aware of the knee bar of Kaja Puelles, which is easily his biggest threat, his biggest weapon. And I'm thinking Fares Ziam is going to outlast Kaja Puelles, maybe start to win a grimy battle, but then in the end, it won't be so grimy. I think he's going to be taking over the fight down the stretch and either dominating or putting away Claudio Puelles and doing so with his superior striking. Claudio Puelles, he's got 3 losses, 1 by decision early on, and then 2 by TKO in round 2 in the UFC. Martin Bravo and Dan Hooker. Both were body shots, even though the Hooker fight could have been stopped due to frustration because he was just doing that jiu-jitsu flopping around thing, the butt scooting. But he ended up getting taken out with a teep kick. And against Martin Bravo, it was some body shots against the cage, and he went down. And I do think he's vulnerable with or without any cardio issues. He's just a vulnerable striker. And, of course, against Felipe Silva, he was nearly knocked out. I still think the fight should have been stopped in round 3, but he ended up surviving and hitting a knee bar a few seconds later. So Kaja Puelles is vulnerable, but he's also dangerous down the stretch. Also got Gritzmacher out of it with another knee bar later. I think cardio isn't the biggest gaping issue for him, as far as his cardiovascular shape. But I think as an MMA fighter, he's limited. He's got the good kicks and the good rangy striking for 30 seconds, but he's not able to sustain that for 15 minutes at the UFC level. And I think if he's in the middle of that fight, whether it's fatigue or whatever, discomfort, he's overwhelmed. He's never looking good down the stretch. And I'm thinking that's going to be the case here. And Fares Ziam, with his superior striking, is going to pour on the volume. Hopefully he's seen the body shots and he knows to mix it up. And I've got him putting Claudio Puelles away. Let's go with round 2, late round 2, TKO due to body shots. So that would be the pick. But the bet as of now, I've only bet on the money line of Fares Ziam at minus 200 because that's the only thing available. And I'm reasonably happy with it because, of course, he could win a decision just as well as the late TKOs. But I'm anxious to see what the props look like because if they're long, of course, I'll be pouncing on them. Like, share, subscribe, all that horse shit, and check out my other videos.